This is Captain Chaudhari. In my series of videos on basic stability calculations, at the moment I am doing the stability for phase 2 level, whereby I was doing intact stability criteria. Now today I am going to do the alternate criteria that may be permitted for a vessel that is carrying timber. Now, in respect of a timber carrying vessel, there are certain good things, there are certain bad things. Now, good thing is the timber that is loaded on the main deck is a buoyant material. It provides buoyancy. It is a kind of Kasi superstructure. It's not 100% superstructure. It's Kasi superstructure. Now there is a lot of misunderstanding about the permeability. Permeability means the amount of the volume or the percentage of liquid that would be permitted in a loaded space. The same definition continues on the deck. Permeability of the timber that is loaded on deck is assumed to be 25%. It is normally not considered less than 25%. So a sawn wood when loaded on deck would have an assumed permeability of 25%. If it is a rounded wood, the permeability would increase. The size of the diameter of the timber, diameter of the log increases, the permeability also increases. Now, the stability curves which are given by the administration would assume that permeability of 25% is there. But if permeability is different than 25%, say 40% for a rounded timber, then additional curves should be provided. That is what is stated. Let us understand the changes which are likely to occur on a timber vessel's stability when the vessel sets out on a voyage across the ocean. Like any other ship, she is consuming fuel from the bottom area, which would increase the kg or decrease the gm. The center of gravity would move upwards. Then there is a virtual loss of gm also, because a free surface effect is likely to be more when the fuel is consumed from different tanks. Now, apart from this, what might also happen on a timber vessel, suppose there is a dried up timber loaded on deck, the weight of the timber would also increase. Now, the weight of timber would increase depending on the kind of timber that is loaded on deck. Now, there is a table that is provided. That table provides for different kinds of timber what is the percentage weight that would increase per day. That is to be applied in a formula to find out what is the present weight of the timber that is loaded on deck. Now, there are certain assumptions which we apply in case the percentage of the weight increase is less than 2%. And here's the formula. You can see with this formula we can find out what is the increased weight of timber on deck. Apart from the increasing of weight of timber on deck, let's talk about the superstructure. Now, superstructure generally is good for stability, and as we do in load line convention 66, assignment of freeboard, the tabular freeboard that you get from the convention is assuming that there is no superstructure. But now superstructure is there, so some allowance in the stability in terms of reduction of freeboard is permitted. Increase of freeboard would be definitely there, and reduction of freeboard is at the discretion of administration mostly. So the superstructure that is provided by the timber should not be considered as foolproof 100% superstructure, right? There is this flaws in the superstructure, and that is called permeability. Now, permeability would be either 25% or more, right? Depending on what is the permeability, and if it is considerably different from 25, as I said, additional curves would be provided. Now, the condition of administration agreeing to uh, allow the alternate intake stability criteria for the timber ships is, number one, the timber is loaded from superstructure, between the superstructure as much as practicable. But if there is no aft superstructure, then at least till the after end of the aft hatch combing, or hatch space, the timber is loaded till there. Timber should also be loaded across the breadth, but where there is rounded gunwale, to allow for the roundedness of the gunwale, 4% may be allowed. So the timber has to be loaded almost to the entire available length and the maximum breadth, and it should be loaded to a height that is specified in the timber loading code. Now you can't say that there is a sling of dunnage on the deck and this ship should be considered as a timber ship. Even if the timber is loaded fully within the holds, but the timber is not loaded on deck, she would not be considered as a timber ship. The timber load line would not apply, and the amended or the modified or the alternate intake stability criteria also will not be applicable. So it is very important that the timber is loaded in the fashion the timber should be loaded to get the advantage of alternate criteria. So what are these alternate criteria? The first criteria, the area under the curve up to 40 degrees or angle of flooding, if it is a smaller angle, should be at least 0.08 meter radians. Like in the normal criteria, you would see 0.09 meter radian. Here it is 0.08 meter radian. Then the maximum GZ should be at least 25 centimeters. Now, there's nothing stated about the position where the maximum GZ should occur. So the shape is considered as, not important, or the criteria regarding the position of the maximum riding lever is exempted, but it should be at least 25 centimeters. Then throughout the voyage, considering the various effects on the stability of the ship, the a GM of 10 centimeters should be present there for varying conditions. Now there is an additional criteria, and we know that criteria as wind heel criteria, severe wind criteria. Now considering the severe wind criteria, now one of the criteria, that is the criterion in respect of the steady heel angle, should be 16 degrees or 80% of deck edge immersion, whichever is smaller. Now this particular criterion, you may neglect the other half. The other half means 80% of deck edge immersion. Just consider the criterion to be 16 degrees, not more than 16 degrees. A mariner today should be aware about the various factors which affect the stability of the vessel, because he needs to calculate the stability in intermediate condition and arrival condition. And the most important of these factors are, loss of bunkers from underneath, and also the increase of deck weight because of ice accretion, because of water absorption, and also if there are any curves provided, any stability curves provided for permeability which is different than 25%. Also, the master of a timber carrying ship less than 100 meter must be particularly careful about the reserve buoyancy that he has, and he should also know that during ballasting, deballasting, he might accidentally increase the relevant load lines of the timber. Also, you must understand that the stability might change because of use of bunker, because of free surface effect, because of increased deck weight, etc.